I gotta be honest, doing this review has opened my eyes. It's allowed me to consider a different brand when it comes to RAM, mainly because now that I've actually got my hands on it, I've messed with it, I've done some stress tests and actually played around with it. Now I feel like I can actually consider a different brand than the normal 2 brands of RAM that I always limit myself to purchasing. And that is Acer. Yeah, I'm talking about the people who make monitors and other things, but monitors, when I think Acer, I think monitor. But when I shop for RAM, I am notorious. This is what I do, right? G-Skill, Corsair. That's it. I don't even consider, I sort. I'm like, this is what I'm looking at. So in today's video, I want to talk about a set of RAM that was sent over to me by Acer a very long time ago. Acer, I'm sorry this has taken so long. Please forgive me, don't hate me. But they sent this over to me and now I tested it. And I can actually safely say that now, whenever I build another system, maybe Acer is going to be part of that little sorting thing when I'm picking my new RAM. What's up YouTube, Jason here with Byte My Bits. Like I said, Acer, making RAM. They've been doing it for a little bit. They got a few different brands, but they sent some over for me today to test out. They have some claims. They're like, it's better, faster, it's RAM. But my biggest fear has always been, is it reliable? Is there a system, or is there a company that backs it up? Am I going to get the same experience? Do I really want to venture out in something that I don't really know anything about? But now I do. Here we are. Let's talk a little bit about the specs, some of which are nothing but fluff. So here we go. Acer Predator Vesta 3600 megahertz, which is not really super crazy, but what is crazy is the timings, which is what they use to say, hey, this is better. If you go online, you do a little bit of research, you're gonna find a few videos out there that say, hey, timing can sometimes be more important than the actual speed of the RAM. This can go back and forth. Some people are like, no, you need faster RAM, even if it's slower timing, you still get better performance. I mean, it's all across the board and it can go both ways. I am absolutely, definitely not the person to make the argument for either way. What I can tell you though, in the system that I was testing this in, I was running G-Skill Trident Z. It's like a leftover system. A 3900, that's an AMD Ryzen, a 3900 system running Trident Z RAM, right? 32 gigs. This stuff only runs at 3200 megahertz. It's got some latencies of cast latency 16, then 18, 18, 38 at 1.35 volts. This is what I was originally messing with. And then you bring in the Acer, the Vesta RGB, let me just get both sides of it right here. The Vesta RGB 32 gig dual channel kit. Here's what stood out, right? They claim things go faster and it's got RGB. Everyone loves RGB. The Trident Z has RGB. This is not, that's the fluff, by the way. They have 8 independent lighting areas, fairly well diffused. Also, they handle 6.8 million colors. Again, a lot of fluff there. It's not nothing new, not groundbreaking, but it's cool to have. Especially if you want to build a system that's a little bit fancy and you want some rainbows in there. Hey, that's cool. At 3600 megahertz, this thing is going to run a cast latency, cats. This DDR4 3600 megahertz, we got cast latency of 14, 15, 15, 35. That's pretty decent. Like that's pretty low, especially for higher end RAM. How do they do that? Well, this RAM is built off of the Samsung B-Die memory chips. So if you don't know, those are like the notorious, I run super fast, also pretty freaking good quality. These are the things that you really want to put in high-end RAM. On top of the whole gold plating thing and the really actually pretty thick aluminum heat shield here that helps you dissipate some heat, makes this overall, on the surface, a pretty good choice, or at least a consideration when building your new system. Of course, this is gonna work for Intel and AMD. However, based off of the way AMD works, and it really likes lower, like tighter timings, An AMD Ryzen processor is going to be able to give you the best possible improvements out of a set of RAM like this, which conveniently, since I'm running a 3900 in my testing rig, that's what I got. I didn't get super amazing like improvements, but if I'm building a new system, I'm gonna pick the faster one, even if it's just a little faster. XMP 2.0, one-click overclock, everything you would expect from a good point of RAM. Let's move on just a little bit. The RGB, again, not completely unique for this, but the RGB can be controlled by any of those little softwares that you have to install on your computer every time you add an RGB light, which pisses me the heck off, but still, this runs off of that software. So I have an MSI board in my system. I was able to run and control everything through that system without having to install some stupid new piece of software. Inside, this thing uses a 10-layer PCB design with the aluminum heat sink and everything, which allows you to do a little bit of overclocking with much better temperatures. I did not test that. I have to be honest. I do not have enough experience really testing, tightening up, and reviewing RAM sticks to give what I feel would be confident enough information to say this is better or worse than other things of RAM, especially because my test size is really small. What they do claim in their advertisement though is up to 15% of copy speed, like if you're within your system copying stuff, 15% increase in copying speed just because of the better timing. Also 15% less latency in some games, again, depending on whether it's GPU, CPU dependent, up to 15% latency reduction in gaming, which is gonna give you less tearing, gonna give you just an overall better gaming experience. If you're building something and you're like, hey, you know, I have this, 32, 36, loose timings, tight timings, you know, maybe you don't wanna replace this with this, but if you're buying new RAM, God, this could just really be an option. Now, I did try to go through and just run some benchmarks. It took a whole lot of like, you know, checking out timings, voltages, and just kind of really messing with it to the best of my ability, at least with the experience I know. And I definitely technically really got better results, but the results themselves were negligible. I'm talking like in Cinebench, for example. Cinebench, I got like 8 to 11 points higher score. And I got a lot of that across the board. I was testing a 3900 with a 3080 in it. So, you know, I got a few more frames per second in Heaven. I got, you know, just a few more points in Cinebench, both single and multi-thread. W Prime, I did not write that down. I think I didn't write it down because the differences were so negligible. It's really hard to say that had anything to do with the RAM. So moving forward. One thing I definitely noticed though is the size difference, okay? The RAM itself, like the PCB, right? This is the same size. This is nothing big. There's no big difference there. What really matters is all the fluff that you get onto it. I mean, look at the difference in the size of these two sticks. And a lot of this is the diffused plastic lighting that they put on the top in order to make it look pretty. I think this looks pretty, but this looks also pretty. The only benefit that I could see here is that this is a little bit more overclocking friendly, and because it has faster speeds, tighter timings, yeah, having that extra aluminum just helps to keep it just a little bit cooler. So in my opinion, there are two main reasons why if you are building a new system, maybe you want to spend a little bit more money, whatever, and you want to get a little bit faster, tighter timings, etc., something like this, or even anything with a Samsung B-Die memory chips in it. If you wanted to do something like that, you're going to have like two main reasons to do so. First of all, kind of sort of depends on if you're a gamer, and if you are, what kind of games? Because if you have a game that's severely limited by the graphics card you have in your system, you're probably not going to see that big of a difference with this RAM versus just, you know, something else. Because a lot of that is just going to be bottlenecked by your graphics card. However, if you're playing games that are kind of really mainly limited by your CPU, like let's say a big graphics card running at 1080p, you want, you know, in the hundreds of frames per second, hey, this is going to come in and it's going to give you better results. Maybe you're running some sort of a simulator that requires a lot of CPU calculations, sims, roller coasters, whatever. Things like that is going to be where this stuff comes in. Second of all, Adobe applications, After Effects and Premiere. You create a video, you edit, you're going to have a little bit better previews, and you're going to be able to encode just a little bit faster just because of the tighter timings. So at the end of the day, what does this mean? For me, this means, because I've had a chance to put this to the test, I've put it in a system, I've ran extended memory test just to see if I got any kind of errors, crashes. By the way, I really didn't. But now that I've had a chance to actually test it out, I actually think Acer might be in the realm of possibilities for sorting for new RAM, for new system build, just because now I know what it can actually do and the quality of which it's made. I compare that to something simple like restaurants. I have restaurants that I go to. I know exactly what I want. I don't want to venture off and try something new that I may or may not like and waste my money and then just completely hate the fact that I didn't get what exactly I knew I liked at that restaurant. Absolutely not. Corsair and G-Scale, absolutely no, I like them. They never failed me, never had an issue whatsoever. Now, Acer could be a possibility, especially with the faster speeds and tighter timings. If I'm really just kind of going for performance, it could be a really strong possibility. Well, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below, especially if you have any comments over speed versus latency. I would love to hear that in the comment section. So thank you oh so very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.